Just came up.
Good. So where was we at? Okay. Basically,
Breaking down the word.
You just break it down hand.
breaking down, you get,
I don't see it.
So, but basically, we not Hamite. We not African. We are the so-called Negro. You understand what I'm saying? And a lot of our people think we African because that's where we were captured from. Because everything on that continent is supposed to be African. When you don't call an Arab African, you understand what I'm saying? And all those other people in Turkey and all that, you don't call them African Turkeys. You got everything over there. You understand what I'm saying? But that's where our oppressor gets us lost at to make us think that we African. So now we chasing everything African when we not the African. But this is the reason why we should not seek peace with our oppressor, because our oppressor is here to do what? Oppress us. What'd you say?
Destroy.
Exactly. Destroy and oppress us. And that's what we've been for over 400 years. We've been destroyed and oppressed. We are constantly destroyed and oppressed. Now, we'll grab me that scripture, Zephaniah 2:1.
Come on.
So we're gonna grab the scripture, Zephaniah 2:1. You got a Bible? Here you go, brother. You got one, sis? Okay, yeah, grab one from over there. So we all can be on the same accord. That's what the Most High tells us, that we all have to be on the same accord. You go into Zephaniah 2:1, basically, that's what Zephaniah 2:1 talks about. You understand what I'm saying? Zephaniah 2:1, in a nutshell, is being on the same accord.
You ready? Come on. Zephaniah 2:1.
2:1.
Zephaniah
Yes.
chapter 2, verse 1. We froze up again.
Come on.
And you still hear me, all right?
No.
Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Sure, man, let's go with it. Go ahead and read that.
Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
It says, gather yourself together. Now, basically, you know, whenever you gather yourself together, that means what?
Right now.
Exactly. That means just like we are right now, but more than that, that means you have to come out of something. You coming together, you coming from something. The reason why the Most High told us to gather ourselves together because we were into something or things that we should not have been into. So before you can be on one accord with the Most High, you have to gather together. Not only gather together, but you have to be on one accord. You understand what I'm saying? Because just like we talked about this last night, You had many groups out here, Black Panthers, the Muslims, and all these other groups out here that gathered together, but they weren't on one accord. People gathered together and they had their own agenda. You understand? And that's why a lot of groups fail. That's why the Muslims fail. You understand? That's why the Black Panthers fail. That's why all of these little small groups, all these new Black Panther parties and all these things are failing. You understand? Because they have gathered themselves together, but they're not on one accord. Everyone has their own agenda. When we come on one accord, we coming on one accord under the Most High. We follow the law, statutes, and commandments of this Bible. This is what brings us together. Think about this, right? The so-called Jewish man took the first 5 books took the first 5 books, and he runs the world. You understand what I'm saying? So just imagine if we took the whole book, where we'd be at. You understand? The so-called Jewish man, you can look at him and tell he's not even from that continent. You understand what I'm saying? How deceptive is that? You understand what I'm saying? Where you can take a European, he can say, I am from that country, and everybody believes it. That's witchcraft. But he took those first 5 books and he claimed that this is what do we say? This was the first recorded incident of identity theft. You understand what I'm saying? This was the first recorded event of identity theft. You understand what I'm saying? But more than that, when we read the Bible tells us what? That they are a special people. We are a peculiar people. The Most High gave us certain attributes that no one on the face of this earth has. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, think about this. Some of the greatest inventions on the face of this earth was created by us. Sports, dominated by us. Literature and songs, dominated by us. Everything that people do on the face of this earth, they look at us and they copy. Right? They copy. So now, because we don't follow the law, statutes, and commandments, Most High said he will make us the tail. He gonna make them the head. Now think about this, right? All the greatest football players, basketball players, inventors, scientists, teachers, and everything come from our nation. If we dominate at all of that, how can we be on the bottom like we are? You understand what I'm saying?
It's like, sir, it's funny that you would mention that, how up in New York, they had created, the breakdance or whatever. Now you got people in China breakdancing.
Oh, but more than that, have you seen the Chinese now getting afros?
Yeah,
and then,
I've seen them.
Darkening their skin to look like us. Everybody wants to look like us, but they don't want to be us.
And if I may, the number 1 rap group in the world, you know who it is?
Who's that?
It's an Asian group, BTS. The number 1 rap group in the world right now is an Asian group by the name of BTS.
That's hard to believe.
They just broke another record probably like 2 days ago for most views on
Did
YouTube.
they physically break a record or break a record? You know what I'm saying? It's a difference. You know what I mean? I think about this though, right? We dominate in everything, but we lose in everything. What I mean by greatest football players, but we don't own any football teams. Greatest baseball players, we don't own any baseball teams. Greatest teachers, we don't own any schools. You understand? And it goes on. When they come for style and they come for innovative culture or clothing or things like that, they look towards us. What what we validate, they make the money off of. How is that? Because we seek peace with our oppressor. We seek to be with our oppressor. We seek to shake hands. We want to be a part of. We want to be equal to. When the Bible tells us we are not equal to them. The Bible tells us what?
You're above.
We are above them. You understand what I'm saying? Zephaniah 2:1 says, gather yourselves together. Ye, gather yourselves together, O nation I desire. Understand what that last part said. That last part said, O nation not desire. We are an undesirable people on the face of this earth. Not because we are wicked, but because we have the Most High behind us. But we fall because we don't follow the law, statutes, and commandments. And because we don't follow the law, statutes, and commandments, all the other nations take advantage of that. Think about this. You can have a Chinese man come from China, come from rice paddy fields, come from nothing, a third world country, and come here, and automatically he is over top of you. He is over top of us. Why is he over top of us? Because we seek to have peace with our oppressor, but our oppressor seeks to have his foot on our neck. And because he seeks to have his foot on our neck, he places any and everybody over top of us, no matter where they come from. You understand what I'm saying? Think about it. You have Arabs that come over here that can't even speak the language, but they got stores. I got it right a couple of doors from me. I got an Arab selling pizza. 30 years ago, I would have never thought that would have ever happened. An Arab selling pizza. When I was young, only the Italians sold pizza. You understand what I'm saying? You got the Koreans selling soul food. 40 years, that could never happen. You understand what I'm saying? How does something like that happen? When you don't follow the law, statutes, and commandments, when you seek peace with your oppressor, when you are Martin Luther King and want to integration destroyed us. The Bible did not tell us to come together with the other nations. It said, gather yourselves together, O nation not desired. Integration destroys you. Anytime you integrate anything, anytime you integrate into anything, you become the thing that you integrate into. You understand what I'm saying? You become the very thing that you integrate into. Sis, check this out. If I come to your house and I rent a room from you, what do I have to do?
Pay rent.
I have to pay rent, right? Of course, but what do I have to do?
Sign a lease.
In signing that lease, what is that lease telling me?
It's a legal document.
A little bit more than that. What is it telling me?
That I owe you.
I'm going to give it to you. This is what you can do and this is what you can't do. The lease says, these are the rules.
Yes.
Whenever you come into somebody's house, you live by their rules. When you come into somebody's house, you're integrating into their space. So you automatically do what? You follow their rules. Integration destroyed us. You understand what I'm saying? Integration destroyed us. In integrating into our oppressor, what did we do?
We diluted ourselves.
That's true. Say that again. We followed the laws and the rules.
So, we destroyed our own economy is what we did.
Give it to me in detail. Detail.
Detail it?
Detail.
Well, as far as if you want education, we built our own colleges and our
There
own
you go.
schools. We haven't built one since. We had the Negro leagues, had our own baseball, not team. We had a whole league.
League.
A league.
Right? So what does that mean, right? We gave up everything that we had. When you integrate into a people, you become the people that you integrate into. When you give up your war scarf for a suit, you become the man that you integrate into. when you give up your garment for a tie, look at what we're wearing now. You understand what I'm saying? This is not the stuff that we wore. But now, in our mind, this is what we wear. Because integration has destroyed us so much so that we only know we are American. In schools, what do? From kindergarten, what do? They integrate you into their society, right? The first thing that you learn when you go to school, when you're in kindergarten, what is that? Alphabet, but it's something more than that.
It's like the Pledge of Allegiance.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
That is the first thing.
Think about this though, right?
Yeah.
What is listen to what you're saying. The Pledge of Allegiance. You're pledging your allegiance to this country. To hell with your country.
Yeah.
I'm pledging allegiance. And this is what they do. They do it from young. Right? They do it from young. So by the time you get 20 years old, hell no, I'm an American. Hell no, I'm fighting for my country. I lost a leg. Oh, what the hell? I fought for my country. Then you're homeless.
Yeah.
With one leg.
On drugs.
On drugs. Because they do that into our neighborhoods too. They threw the drugs into our neighborhoods to make sure we didn't fight back. You understand what I'm saying? So now let's fast forward. Look at the Hispanics at the border. Take the Hispanics at the border, they put them in cages, then they separate the parents from the children. What are they doing?
It's like some of them are adopting the kids and sending the parents back.
Integrating with another family.
There you go, right? More than that, what we just talked about, they indoctrinate them.
Right.
So what they do is to destroy the small culture, and even the Mexicans and Hispanics that they catching at the border, the culture that they live in now is still not their culture. Because they are the Israelites too. You understand? El Salvadorians, the Mexicans, the Puerto Ricans, all of those Spanish-speaking countries, all of those got conquered by the Spaniards. And this is the reason why they speak Spanish. What would you say?
It's like, sir, they did the same thing to the Native Americans. They had a program where it was called Kill the Indian, Save the Man.
Did you see that they destroyed?
Yes.
And then the thing about it, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead, sir.
What was more horrible than that was to see the kids up there in European attire. And if you could see their faces in that European attire, they were destroyed. You could see in their faces that they were destroying the native Indians. And they were indoctrinating them from kids. Kill the parents, take the kids, raise the kids, make the kids American. This is the reason why we see blacks now fighting for America. This is the reason why we see Hispanics now fighting for America. This is the reason why we see Native Indians speaking up for America. We are the most destroyed people on the face of this planet. You understand what I'm saying? So, to seek peace, to integrate into anything is to become that thing that you integrate into. You understand what I'm saying? Zephaniah 2:1. Gather yourselves together. Because what they're doing is not acceptable to the Most High. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather yourselves together, O nation I desire. I'm telling you that these people don't desire you. And any small crack that you give them to get into you and to be a part of you, and they will destroy you. 1965, they gave us a legal right to vote without being apprehended or without being obstructed.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. So from 1965 to 2020, which is what, 55 years, something like that? Mm-hmm. What has changed from 1965 till now? They were lynching us in 1965, right? When when that dude put his knee on George Floyd's neck, that was nothing but what? A modern day lynching. You understand what I'm saying? I watched a video of police shoot a dude 7 times.
Recent one?
A recent one.
Yeah.
7 times getting into the car, right? I just saw that today, right?
Yeah, I see it too.
7 times
Friends,
where they
kids.
could have grabbed him and took him down. He walked. That's a modern day lynching. Now, another thing, think about this, right? I always tell people to look at, we see this with a microscope, right? But back off and look at the big picture. Every time you see these killings, it's never Black or Hispanic cops around. I was in the Department of Corrections back in 2002 and 2005. I went through training, right? Went to training like 6 months training, right? And after training, when I got into the facility, and I heard Officer Kazak, talk about this. When I came out of training, when I got into where I was going to be working at, the lieutenants and the captains told me, everything that you learned in training, forget it. Don't work like that. This is how we do it. We brutalize our own people for our oppression. Got over 2 million brothers and sisters in jail today, locked up on bogus charges. I was talking to a couple of brothers that was in there. They was in there for nothing. And I'm saying in my mind, like, damn, you locked up. How can you be in there for nothing? I know when I got locked up, I wasn't in there for nothing. I was in there for something. Until you start seeing stats and statistics, right? Until you start seeing people coming out of jail after being in there for 30-something years. And then they give them a bullshit $2 million. After you took 30-something years in this man's life and you give him I make $2 million in like what, 10 years? You know, just working. I make close to 2. I know I don't. I would like to though. You know? But my thing is $2 million is not worth 30-something years of your life. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. How can you, and it was happening multiple times. I remember in 1985 or something like that, the Central Park 5.
Oh yeah.
I remember watching that on TV.
About that when you were saying.
I watched it on TV.
Yeah.
I watched Trump take the full page, front page ad out to execute them. Yeah. Exactly. You understand what I'm saying? And guess who's our president? Excuse me, guess who's their president? Guess who the president is today? Do you think his love for black people changed? And guess what? They found out that these brothers was innocent. And it has happened time, especially in Baltimore. This has happened 4 or 5 times in Baltimore alone. We just saw a brother last month just getting released after 32 years. Can you imagine being locked up 32 years of your life in prison, not jail, prison, fighting for your life every day, knowing that you're innocent? What does that do to the body? What does that do to the self-esteem? What does that do to your soul? You understand what I'm saying? And your mind. And they gave him $2 million. Can you imagine that? Think about this, right? I think like I ain't close. I don't say that. But I'm just saying, I just can't imagine 30-something years of $2 million. Can that fix you? Hell no. The system is made to destroy us because we seek to have peace with our oppressor. And because we seek to have peace with our oppressor, these are the things that happen. You understand what I'm saying? Let's grab First Esdras, chapter 8 in the Apocrypha.
Come on.
First Esdras, chapter 8, verse 85. You writing that down, sis? Hey, brother, you need a pen or something? You gonna write something down or?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay. I mean, now, Wolf.
Come on.
We got some paper. Or some,
Scripture again.
oh, first address, chapter 8, verse 85. You got it, come on. Yeah, first address, chapter 8, verse 85. Here you go, brother, right
Oh,
here.
I was gonna say,
Right here you go. So you can read along with it. Let me grab it. Here you go. Chapter 8, verse 85.
Sorry, I was it was heavy you was bringing out what about that Trump taking out that full page ad. Now he's the president. By the same token, if you remember, Biden had made a similar comment about he didn't want his kids growing up in a racial jungle.
The racial jungle, what's going to become a racial
Jungle.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And not only that, I talked about this last night. Kamala Harris. She's not even an African American, a so-called African American.
No.
She's a heathen.
Yeah.
She destroyed brothers. She destroyed blacks and Hispanics in California with football numbers. You understand what I'm saying? She was killing brothers. She had brothers on death row ready to be murdered and had evidence that they was innocent and wouldn't use it to get them off.
Well, it's like, sir, it's a gentleman that's still in jail right now, and whether he was guilty or not was in question, and the only thing they needed was a simple retest of the DNA,
Right.
and she just
Wouldn't
denied
give
it.
it to
She
him
wouldn't give it to him.
because she hates blacks and Hispanics.
And
And now you got a Biden who hates blacks and Hispanics, and then you get a vice president, not only a vice president, but a female. She has an oppressor for a husband. You understand what I'm saying? She has an oppressor for a husband. What did you expect? You understand what I'm saying? What did you expect? She's an oppressor who looks like she's us, but she's not. And then has a husband that's an oppressor. What is that bedroom talk like at night?
I believe she's Irish and East Indian.
Yeah, her mama's East Indian, but her daddy is oppressor and Jamaican, but oppressor first.
It was a part. Her father wrote in his book that his grandfather was a sugarcane plantation owner, so he actually had slaves.
Right.
He owned a plantation. He raised sugarcane, and he was Irish.
Yeah. Exactly. You understand what I'm saying? So this is the thing, because we wanna be with the oppressor, because we wanna join them. This is we are deceived. Any little thing, just like with the African thing, any little attachment and we think we African. Any little attachment and we think she is us. She's not us. It's a deception. They had this planned all along. They knew her background and her history. You understand what I'm saying? And they knew exactly who they was picking. They chose her because why? Majority of voters are who? So now, then not only that, African American women are deceived. You understand what I'm saying? African American women are deceived, and bam, now you got two oppressors in there at the same time, working together to destroy us. You got that scripture? Everybody there? Everybody there?
No. Do you mean?
First address, chapter 8, verse 85. You got the Apocrypha in you?
No.
Sis, you just listen to us. All right?
Okay.
You You just ride along with us. All right?
Got it.
Go ahead.
First Ezra, chapter 8, verse 85. Moreover, you shall never seek to have peace with them.
Read that again.
Moreover, you shall never seek to have peace with them.
It says, ye shall never seek to have peace with them. Who are they talking about? Exactly. The oppressor. Why should ye never seek to have peace with them, sis?
Because they took a lot of stuff away from us.
Because they are out to destroy us.
By taking all our stuff, yes.
Exactly. You understand what I'm saying? The oppressor never has your interests at heart.
Yeah.
Your oppressor can never have your interests at heart, because if he puts your interests at heart, then he puts his stuff on the back burner. You can never have your interests at heart. It says, moreover, ye shall never seek to have peace with them. Because if you seek to have peace with them, you will integrate into them, you will become them, and you will be destroyed, which we are today. You feel?
Come.
We are destroyed today because of integration, because we seek to have peace with them. You feel me? Hey, listen. This book, any problems that you have, this book has the solution. This Bible, the Bible has the solution to every problem. Everything that we're going through, we don't have to go through. We don't have to go through. It took me almost 50 years to find this truth. You feel me? 50 years. I'm running the streets doing everything, helping the oppressor out. Some of the things I was doing. You feel me? Destroying our own people. You understand what I'm saying? And I thank God that he helped me on this long to find the truth. You understand what I'm saying? But every problem and everything that we go through and that I think about now, I know it's a way out. Using the truth. But when you seek to have peace with the oppressor, there is no way out of that. When you seek and enjoy him, ain't no way out of that. You know what I mean?
Come on.
Go ahead, finish reading.
You shall never seek to have peace with them, that ye may be strong.
That ye may be strong. Listen, if you seek not peace with your oppressor, you will be strong. When you seek not to live amongst your oppressor, you are forced to build your own things. You are forced to build your own school. You are forced to build your own industries. You are forced to build everything that you need to make you strong. We are weak people right now because we rely on our oppressor for everything that for a job, for water, for food, for clothing. What does that remind you of? There you go. You hit it right on the money. Slavery. We are modern day slaves. Think about this, right? Even more so, you see the proof that you are modern day slaves when you get into a courtroom and the oppressor has just killed your people and he gets off. That's what was done to us back in slavery. They give you the illusion of inclusion. Make you feel like you're going to get justice as soon as they get you in that courtroom. Not guilty. Trayvon Martin, not guilty. Breonna Taylor, not guilty. Sterling Hall, Sterling, not guilty. You feel me? If that ain't slavery, what is it? If that's not injustice, what is it? You feel me? I mean, think about it, right? If it happens once, maybe twice, you can understand. But it's happening every time. George Floyd. How does a man think about this? Can somebody tell me what's first degree murder? Plan on doing it, right?
Intent. With intent.
With intent, right? So let me ask a question. And that dude put his knee on George Floyd's neck. That wasn't planned. That wasn't intent.
Yeah,
With people standing there saying you killing him,
yeah.
and he's sitting there just leaning forward, crushing his neck more. Ain't that intent? Let me ask a question, right? How does he get a bail? I've never seen anybody get a bail for murder.
Murder, no.
You feel me? I've never seen that. I had dudes around the way. I got buddies that. You know what I mean?
No bail.
I got buddies that was with buddies that did murders that didn't get a bail. You feel me? I know some. I know of murderers, and my man's and them was together. He didn't do the murder, but he ain't get a bail. Because they said accessory to murder. So how did the other 3 cops get off? How did they get a bail? These are the things that happen when you integrate. When you seek peace with your oppressor.
Slack, sir. That reminds me of that case that came up, Yusuf Hawkins. You remember that in New York?
Remind me of that.
Yusuf Hawkins was a youth in New York, and he was going to look at a car that he was thinking about buying, but it was in Bensonhurst. Now,
Okay.
Bensonhurst is
That's the Jewish area.
it's Italian, white, Jewish, all like that, right? So it was a girl there that was supposed to be having a birthday party, and I guess she had told the guys in the neighborhood that she was going to have a birthday party, and she was inviting some black guys, and they was like, we ain't having no black guys in the neighborhood. Well, they showed up, wrong place, wrong time. They showed up to look at this car. The white kids from the neighborhood thinking they coming there to go to the birthday party. So they get a whole bunch of bats. Guys come, they surround them with the bats, was about to, I guess beat them down or whatever. Then all of a sudden somebody shoots Yusuf in the chest.
Right.
Now they claim they got the shooter, and still believe he's in prison, or probably should be getting out in like a couple years. But all those people out there with the bats, free.
Right.
I've never seen that happen before. I've never seen that happen before.
We would have been locked up too for accessory.
Because of intent.
Aiding and abetting.
Playing baseball with the bat.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
How about that?
I think a couple of them had to do like community service or something like that.
But how do you do community service?
Exactly.
You feel me? But this is what happens. These are the things that happen when we seek to have peace with our oppressor. You understand what I'm saying? Listen, it says, "O nation not desire, gather yourself together. They gather yourself together, O nation not desire." You are not desired. If people don't desire you, how can they give you the benefit of the doubt? How can you expect it?
Or even love you.
Right.
Care about you.
You understand?
Want to uplift you.
How can you expect it? You feel me? Go ahead, finish.
And eat the good things of the land.
And eat the good things of the land. Think about what we eat now. You understand? Think about the food stamps that they give you, that your wife or your father struggles to maintain and buys the cheapest of everything just to survive. We don't think about the poisons that they put into the foods that they give us. I even seen a study one time, right? A few years ago, they did a study. They said any of the milk factories that they have that are close to nuclear factories, they send that milk to the urban areas. That was a study. A white woman did that study. An oppressor did that study. You understand? Anything if I go to Owings Mills to go to Giants, right? Because most of the time the Giants and the what's names close to me, first off, they don't have the grapes with the seeds in them, right? But then not only that, the grapes are inferior. The vegetables and the fruits are inferior. When I go all the way out Owings Mills, that's pristine. You understand what I'm saying? It's not by happenstance that these things are happening, especially if you go West Side Shopping Center to Food Depot. That is totally inferior food. And I see it. You understand what I'm saying? I used to eat the Tombstone pepperoni pizza all the time. And buying that pizza from Giants as opposed to Food Depot, I could see the difference the way the pepperonis look. The pepperoni from Giant was deep, burgundy, real pretty looking. And these ones was almost brown. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why I stopped buying food from certain markets. You understand what I'm saying? If I gotta get bleach or alcohol or something like that, yeah, I go there. But my food, I go out and get my food. You understand what I'm saying?
Kind of funny. And it's crazy because when I was living out in Colombia, I could see the difference like in the Targets.
Yeah.
Like they had like name brand clothes in Target.
Right.
Sometimes they got the test so you can taste some stuff in the place and all the little things like that. And I'm like, okay, why is it like that?
Because certain things they do, certain things they give their people, they give to themselves, and certain things they refuse to give to you. I know everybody could see the difference in the Target at Mondawmin and the Targets anywhere else.
Yeah.
I know everybody could see that. I could see the difference in that Ruby Tuesday they got there right there at Mondawmin. You understand what I'm saying? They showed fights breaking out. You understand what I'm saying? So I could imagine what they serve in the
It's
people.
nasty. When that first opened up, that thing was nasty.
So I never seen a Ruby Tuesday that was nasty. And listen, we was young, and my man had started working at the Ruby Tuesday right out there at Owens Mills when it was right out there at the mall. And he had started, I mean, it was sharp. You know what I mean? And we like, yo, can you get us some food or what? You know what I mean? And it was like that. You understand what I'm saying? But the closer you get to the city, the difference you see. You understand? And it's not by happenstance, it's by design. They're going to give us inferior and then make you pay more. You understand what I'm saying? How can you go to Food Depot and buy Tombstone pizza for $7.99 and then I can go right to the Giants and get it for $4.99, $6.99, and $4.99? You understand what I'm saying? That's what I saw that myself. You understand? Hell no, I'm not buying it. I just jump in the truck and go right up to Giants and go get it. You know what I mean? I'm not, certain things, but you seek to have peace with your oppressor. These are the things that happen to us. Go ahead.
And that ye may leave the inheritance of the land unto your children forevermore.
That you may leave the inheritance of the land for your children. What inheritance do we have for our children? Public housing. Public housing. In debt. Yeah. Public housing, rent. You understand what I'm saying? Things like that. Food stamps. We inherit food stamps. You understand what I'm saying? Good times, we inherit public housing. You understand? We all living in public housing. I'm gonna move where my mama lived at. You understand what I'm saying? These are the things that we do. You understand what I'm saying? This is our inheritance. Think about it. How many black people do you know that became millionaires, lost their millions, and then became a millionaire again? That never happens. You understand what I'm saying? But white people do it every day. They lose a fortune every day and become millionaires all over again. Because the system is built for them. The system is not built for you. Think about this, right? How can somebody like Whitney Houston die broke? How can somebody like Michael Jackson die broke? How can somebody like Prince die broke? Because these are the things that they said about him. Prince, think about it. I ain't a Prince fan. But how can Prince die broke? What was we talking about? Didn't he have, Michael Jackson had the Beatles collection, right?
Yeah. Wasn't he still out there?
No, Sony owns that again. That's back in Sony hands. Guess what? Wasn't it more than that? Remember, Prince won all the rights to his music. Guess who has it? Sony. They got all that stuff back. When you die, they get all.
Next king.
Listen, you're not the oppressor. You don't get to do that. Think about this. How does
It's like he had Prince. When they mean broke, meaning that they had assets, they just didn't have cash in hand. But he had tons of unreleased music. So actually, he's worth more as a dead artist than he would be alive.
Yeah, but
Because now he's dead, and then they just
Yeah,
the
people want to listen more, you know?
exactly. They
think
get,
about this,
More famous.
who's getting paid off of that money, that music, that unreleased music?
Viacom.
Yeah. Who owns Viacom?
So,
The so-called Jewish man.
Ask
Guess who
me.
owns BET?
Oh, yeah.
So-called Jewish man.
Yeah.
Anything black, a so-called Jewish man owns that. He gets paid off of everything. Housewives of Atlanta. Guess who's running that show? The so-called Jewish man.
wow.
Yeah. Sanford Son. Guess who's owning that? The so-called Jewish man.
Whatever, Viacom.
Viacom is Jewish. Viacom runs everything. You see Viacom at the bottom of everything. You understand what I'm saying? The so-called Jewish man runs the whole media world. This is the reason why we think we are the most horrible people on earth. Because he portrays us as that. Now, I want y'all to write this down. FBI crime. Let me see. Let me make sure I give you the right thing. FBI crime table 67. FBI crime table 67. Now, when you get a chance, I want you to Google that. You're going to see who is the most horrible people on this earth. FBI crime table. And these are crime statistics that our oppressor took himself. We didn't make this up. You understand what I'm saying? And you can see who is the most horrible person on this planet. Who commits more murders? We think it's us. We think it's us. You think black on black crime is horrible. It ain't nothing compared to your oppressor. To drop in the bucket. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think white on white crime is 3 times more. Rapes.
I see. I look at
The oppressor is a rapist. I mean, we already know that.
We are
You're looking
roughly,
at it now.
yeah, we roughly at about 1,500. He like at 5,000.
Exactly. You understand what I'm saying? Listen, because our oppressor runs the media, runs the radio, and runs all the networks, we see ourselves as being horrible. The first thing we say is what? White man ain't done nothing to me. It's the niggas around my way that be doing shit to me, right? When in fact, the reason why we get harmed by our own people is because of the position that we have been placed in. Because of the conditions that we are been forced to live in. The oppressor destroys, kills, and maims because it's in his DNA. You understand? So now let me give you a scenario. Okay? Let's say you got 10 people in the room, locked in a room, and I come in that room and I give each one of y'all a piece of chicken every day. 1 piece of chicken every day. Everything is good, right? So now when I come into that room, one day when I come into that room, I only got 5 pieces. I'm giving 5 pieces. So you're gonna try to work it out, but it's gonna be tough. Until one day I come in with 1 piece of chicken and I just throw it on the floor. What's gonna happen?
Somebody gonna get killed.
Exactly. And that's the condition that we are in. When you have people who don't have enough to live everyday life, what do? They do what they have to do to survive. So the things that we do, we look at black on black crime like it's horrible. I'm not saying that it's right. It's not right. But we don't look at the condition that we've been placed in. Our oppressor does 10 times worse, and he's not in that position that we are in. So who's the horrible one? You understand what I'm saying? So we should seek not to be with our oppressor. Seek not peace with him. because he is a murderer. He is a killer. He is a thief. You understand? He's going to do what he has to do to destroy us. Go ahead. Was that it on that?
Yeah.
That was
Kind
it
of
on that, right?
That's 186.
No, that was it right there.
Kind of.
This is what I want you to do. I want to go to First Maccabees. First Maccabees, chapter 1. It should be in the back of the book. That one that I gave you. Yep, it should be in the back of that.
First Maccabees.
Yep, First Maccabees. You see it? Okay. First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 11. And we will go into this, right? This is going to show you how we are destroyed. Okay? You listening, sis? I know you only got the book, right?
Right.
All right. You there, brother?
Kind of.
You there, brother? Okay, go ahead.
First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men.
In those days went there out of Israel wicked men. Who are they speaking about? Went there out of Israel wicked men. Speaking about, no, not the oppressor, not this guy.
Oh,
Right?
You mean out of Israel?
Right,
So
out
they
of
had
Israel.
to-
In those days went there out of Israel. So they're speaking about the people in Israel. They're speaking about a particular people in Israel, right? A particular people that is in Israel. It says, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men. Who are they speaking about?
Gentiles, maybe.
Speaking about the Sadducees and Pharisees.
Kind of.
Today we will call them our preachers and our pastors.
Which
Okay.
are
The wicked men.
Israelites?
Those are Israelites, but they are wicked Israelites.
Okay.
Okay? So it says, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men. Speaking about the Pharisees and the Sadducees. Check this out. Go ahead, read.
Who persuaded many.
Who persuaded many. This is what our pastors and our preachers do. They persuade us. What do they persuade us to do? They persuade us to vote for Biden.
Yeah.
They persuade us to vote for Kamala Harris. They persuade us to vote for Obama, a man that was not a Negro. He was an African. Africans hate us. You understand what I'm saying? So, went there out of Israel wicked men, pastors and preachers who persuaded many. Persuaded many. This is what your preachers and your pastors do when they come in here. When they come into the church and they want to persuade you to do a particular thing for monetary gain for themselves. You understand what I'm saying? This is what pastors and preachers do. This is what politicians, this is what black politicians do. This is what black mayors, black governors, and black anything else do. They use us as Israel for monetary gain. You understand what I'm saying? To get ahead for themselves. These are the people that think about themselves and don't think about the bigger picture. These are the people that think about themselves and don't think about their families. We are a family. You understand what I'm saying? We are family. The so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives, we are family. But you have wicked men in Israel who persuade many. Go ahead.
Saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen.
Say that again.
Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen.
One more time.
Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen.
Hey, let us go. Let's vote for Biden. Let us go and let's vote for Kamala Harris. Let us go and let us vote for Trump, whether we have to lose. Ain't that what Trump said? Hey, vote for me. What do you got to lose? What did Obama do for you? You understand what I'm saying? Listen, we have people amongst us that are Israel that persuade us to make covenants with the heathen for their own monetary gain. You understand what I'm saying? Listen, we said this earlier, right? The scriptures have everything we need to be on top. It explains everything in here to get us ahead. we just choose not to. We choose to latch on to our oppressor. We choose to be one with our oppressor. These are the things that happen to us. You understand what I'm saying? This is what happens to us. Go ahead.
Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us.
Let us go make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. Think about it, right? What heathens are round about us? Let us make a covenant with them. Let's make a covenant with the Chinese. Let's go here and help them out. Let's eat their food. Let's make a covenant with the Arabs. Think about this, right? The Arabs were supposed to knock down the towers, right? But you never see them getting destroyed and killed and murdered in the street by cops. COVID-19 supposedly came from the Chinese, right? But you don't see cops beating them up. You don't see them being ostracized and dragged into camps and pens and dog cages. You see that happening with blacks and Hispanics. Native Indians, they in cages already on reservations. A reservation is nothing but a jail. You feel me? We are the nation not desired. What the scripture said that we are the nation not desired. You see?
It's like, sir, that's where the term off the reservation came
Off the
about.
reservation,
Yeah.
yep. You feel me? And ain't it funny how certain things relate like that, and then all of a sudden, years later, you think, I never thought about that when I was young, and I heard that a lot, you know what I mean? Never, a lot of things that we learned in here, I heard a lot, but I never thought about it as far as being in captivity and they destroying us, you understand, until I came into the UPK. Things, this is what it talks about, the blind leading the blind. We thinking about, when I was young, I used to hear that, I used to always think of a blind man walking around leading the other blind man, you know what I mean? But somebody ignorantly not knowing something, leading somebody else around not knowing. You understand what I'm saying? It didn't really make sense till I got here. I understood blind leading the blind, but it didn't really make sense until I got here. You understand what I'm saying? And basically, our pastors and preachers are the blind leading the blind. You understand what I'm saying? Some of them know the truth, but because that monetary gain is so strong, because that evil has latched on them so much so that it's hard to let it go. Think about a Creflo Dollar. Think about a TD Jakes. Think about the billions of dollars that they got. How would they feel about telling you and me that we are Israel and giving up those millions of dollars? What is the chance of that happening? You understand what I'm saying? There's no chance of that happening. You understand what I'm saying? This is why we are destroyed people. When you latch on, when you make covenants with your oppressor, these are the things that happen. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead.
For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
Since we have departed from them, we have had much sorrow. Look, man, when we go off and we do our own thing, man, it just ain't working, man. We gotta go back to the oppressor. We gotta stick with him because he got everything. You understand what I'm saying? Think about this, right? Think about, and I said this, I didn't say this last night, but I didn't think about that last night. But think about this, right? In 1955, the Alabama bus boycott, right? Read that last line again. It says, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. That Alabama bus boycott was tough. People walking, people biking, people doing everything else but riding that bus, right? They fighting to ride the white man's bus when it would have been better if they would have saved their money and started their own bus line. Listen, it says, well, since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. That was a hard thing that they did. And then they turned around and forced the white man to take their money. The white man's economy was being destroyed. Not realizing that, they hurried up and jumped back in with the white man, jumped right back in the bed with him. You got herpes and jumped out the bed with him. You got your herpes cured and then jumped back into the bed with him. You understand what I'm saying? Can't get rid of herpes, can you? Just like you can't get rid of pain and sorrow when you jump into bed with your oppressor. It's impossible. You feel me? These are the things that happen to us. Our pastors, our preachers, our politicians, mayors and governors, these are the people that are destroying us right now. Think about this, right? We have a black mayor, black city councilman, black governor. Oh, no, we have a white governor. But what's that? What they call it? Commissioner, black commissioner. We got all of the black men are still being destroyed. You understand what I'm saying? Still being destroyed. Because these are people that work with the system. When you work with the system is bound to destroy you. When you take monetary gain over your family, you are out to destroy your family. You understand what I'm saying? How does somebody like a Sheila Dixon and what's the old commissioner name who had the felony from stealing from the 911 fund, 9/11 fund?
Ed Norris.
Ed Norris. How does a felon get to run for mayor in Baltimore?
Sorry, sir. It was a widow's fund actually for fallen officers.
Still stole. You feel me?
Yeah.
He still stole.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
When this dude that Commander General Yohana was talking about the other day stole a pair of hedge clippers. He's been in jail for 30-something
Got
years.
life, yeah.
Attempted to steal a pair of hedge clippers. You understand what I'm saying? 30-something years. This dude's stealing money. Enough money to be a felon. You understand what I'm saying? And he got a slap on the wrist, 6 months, low probation time. And he running for mayor. I thought you couldn't have a felon and run for a political office.
I don't think he ran for mayor. I think he was just there as a media.
No, he was running. We was there. He was up there speaking. He was up there with Sheila Dixon speaking.
I didn't see his name on the ballot.
Yeah, he
I
was,
mean, I saw him there on camera.
No, he fell off in the end, but he was running. Me, Kawan, Matazaba, all of us, we was there at that
community meeting. I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, we was there. He was running for mayor. You feel me? See, yeah, I know. You know?
With that, you remember that doctor who was, they used to call him Dr. Death? Jack
Kawarkian.
Yeah.
Dr.
He served
Kawarkian.
time for that.
Huh?
And he served time for that. He's a felon. And
Yeah.
he was running for office. Mayor or something he was running for.
When you are an oppressor, you get to do things
Yes,
like
you
that.
can.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you are the oppressor, you get to do things like that. They allow it, you know? So,
Yeah. Yes, you're
I
right.
mean, you know, it's just what happens, you know? I mean, listen, man, this is the reason why the Most High tells us not to seek to have peace with him. Because it can only be bad for you, you know? They can never look for your best interest. It's always going to be about them, and it's always going to be about destroying you. That's just how it is. You know? I mean, if I had had these scriptures a long time, I can't even say that. We all say that. If I had this scripture, if I had this book alone, I did have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean,
You didn't have the desire.
right, you know what I mean? But I'm glad the Most High held me on long enough to finally get this truth, to finally grasp this truth. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, I could have been there a long time. I should have. You know what I mean? But he looked out. You know, he looked out. Let's grab Psalms 55 and 20. That's in the regular Bible. Psalms 55 and 20. Everybody there?
Come on.
Go ahead, read that.
Psalms chapter 55, verse 20. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him.
It says he has put forth his hands such as be at peace with him. What does that mean? He has put forth his hands such as be at peace with him. What that's talking about is our oppressor making war with a people that was at peace with him. So-called Native Indians. When the white man came over here and destroyed the Native Indians, he had over 177 treaties, peace treaties with this Native Indian. He raised havoc and war with the Native Indian after making these peace treaties. He broke all 177 of those peace treaties. We go in and we make covenants with our oppressor and turn it around, and our oppressor breaks that covenant with us every time we go in. Every time our oppressor says we have to better train our officers so that this thing doesn't happen again, but it happens again. They've been saying retrain officers since the 70s, since I was little. Seen police kill people time and time again. And it's the same thing. We keep making peace treaties with these people. It says he had put forth his hand. The oppressor put forth his hand, his war hand, with the same people who he just made peace with. This is what the oppressor does. This is what this scripture is talking about. We can't have peace with our oppressor. We can't seek to have peace with our oppressor, because these are the things that he does. The oppressor, there is no good in our oppressor. You understand what I'm saying? There is no good in him. And because there is no good in him, you can't make a covenant with him. He hath put forth his hand at such as be at peace with him. Go ahead.
He hath broken his covenant.
He has broken his covenant, which he always does. Go ahead.
21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
The words of his mouth were smoother than butter. Come on, let's sit down. Let's make a peace. Let's work this out for both of us. So listen, if we sit down and work this out, it can work for both of us. If you guys sit down and vote for Kamala Harris, it can work for both of us. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter. This is the way we are taking, because we listen to the words of his mouth, and it runs down, it runs into our ears, just as smooth as butter. It feels good. You understand what I'm saying? And we are slowly being destroyed. This is what our oppressor does to us. You understand what I'm saying? This is the reason why we are destroyed people. But this is the reason why Isupk, this is the reason why we get out there on these street corners and talk to our people. Because we're trying to open out, we're trying to give sight back to the blind, sound back to the deaf, so that the deaf can hear, so that he can hear and understand, so that he can see and be warned. You understand what I'm saying? The words of his mouth are smoother than butter. Our oppressor has a lot of sweet words to make us fall for everything that he does. Like I said, we've been voting since 1965 with ease, but our situation is still the same. What is the use of voting? We get brothers and sisters that stand up, we gotta cast our vote, we gotta cast our vote. Our ancestors died for the right to vote. Listen, let me ask a question, right? Just because somebody dies for something, does that make it right? We always hear our people say we died for the right. Does that mean does that mean that it's right to do it? Just because somebody died for it, does that make it right? Hell no. We see it every day, but we hear the same line. Our ancestors died for it. Our ancestors died for it. Just because they died for it doesn't make it right. And we see the evidence now. We still don't have schools. We still don't have our own industries. We still don't run water factories. We still don't own any car industry, anything that can build us up, we don't own any of it. You understand what I'm saying?
Slicer. And it certainly hasn't brought us any justice.
It certainly hasn't brought us any justice.
If you look at the brother
But
Jacob.
definitely didn't get us any justice.
Jacob Blake, did you see that? Jacob Blake was the gentleman just killed, but he actually survived. His father said he's paralyzed from the waist down. The police officer shot him point blank range in the car like 7 times.
Yeah, that's the one I seen. That's the one we saw.
Yeah.
Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? The thing about it, right? We all saw that video, right? Did you see how close the police was as they was following him?
Yeah.
They could have tackled him. They could have stopped him. But because murder is in their heart, because it's in their blood, because it's in their DNA, they wanted to get him in a position where they could fire on him and it would be justified. Listen, they put you in a position that they can murder you and it can be justified. They had all that open area right there where they could have tackled him, they could have dragged him down, but they waited until he got right into the car, opened the door, and nothing got in and lit him up.
In front of his kids.
Yeah, his children were in the car.
Yeah.
I think that's why he
Listen.
went to the car, worried about his kids.
What does the scripture say? They don't have any love for the young or the old. Right? That's what the scripture say, right? They don't have they don't care whether you're young or old. Look at Tamir Rice.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Breonna Taylor, female. What do they care? This is the reason why scriptures tell us to separate from them. Gather yourself together, gather yourself together. Oh, they should not desire. You feel me? Yeah. You know?
I remember when I was on Ezekiel, I was just banking at Ezekiel. A previous boyfriend gave me a check because he'll take it to the bank. When I get in the bank, I'm working, I got 2 jobs, I'm getting child support, I'm putting 3 checks in this place.
Right.
So the check was somebody stole it, like stole the check. He never told me it was stolen.
Right.
So the girl in there that was the teller told me that I can't go nowhere because she just made me as what do you call it?
Accomplice system.
Not accomplice. They was doing a profile of people who've been coming in as black women, young, looking just like me.
Right.
And she said, we can't let you go, you gotta go to the police. I had to get into the paddy wagon.
Right.
They go down to the jail.
You know they had to humiliate you.
Yes.
Yeah, they had to embarrass you.
And
If you had been white, they would have talked it out.
Yes.
Did you know that, you didn't know this was stolen? Yeah, it was stolen. Well, we're gonna work. They would have did that for you if you was an oppressor. But because you are who you are, they have to humiliate you.
Yes. But guess what the police did?
Exactly.
She spelled my name. She
Right.
put an offer. It's a K. So I was covered, and I was working with the fort at the time.
Right.
And they just put the TIC out there. So, we was going through who's not going to be coming on this fort at all.
Right.
And I was like praying, and they never found me in the system. So that was the only body race.
Right.
So,
You know?
yes.
But that's what we are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Go ahead, finish that.
But war was in his heart.
The war was in his heart. You understand? Listen, the words of his mouth are smoother than butter, but he has an ulterior motive. His ulterior motive is to destroy you. War is in his heart. This is what's in our oppressor's heart. We saw that on the video. Listen, they make it look like they want to apprehend you. They wait till you get to your car to where they can murder you. Listen, the words of their mouth are smoother than butter, but war is in their heart. This is what they're looking for to destroy us in any way possible. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead.
His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
Words are softer than oil, but yet were they drawn swords. Listen, every everything he's saying is to lull you to sleep so he can destroy you. That's it. You feel it? That's it. Everything he's saying is so he can destroy you. All of this voting is to destroy you. You understand? Redlining is to destroy you. Redlining is to keep you in your place so they know where to come to destroy you. This is why you have urban neighborhoods. This is why you have ghettos. You understand? This is why you have certain areas that are placed in a position where you can't afford to live there. You understand? And if you can afford to live there, they harass you so much that you move. Understand?
Come on.
That, we're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. We bring this truth since 1969. And what is that truth? That truth is the so-called black, so-called Hispanic, so-called Native Indian, the true Jews of the Bible. The white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. And with that, I'm going to turn the class over to Priest Officer Nagor.
ISUPK security announcement. We are the ISUPK out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to another brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After the 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi 3 and 8 through 10. It means tenth in Hebrew, and it's pronounced Ma'ashra. 1/10 of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, you give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests. It is not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocations. We have the memorial blowing of the trumpet September 17th. Remind Akim and Aquafium to check on social media sites such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirt, headband, pants, or scarf. And with that, we'll give one courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Amajah, which means to stand. Amajah Shabbat, Amajah, Barak, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah Barakatah.
Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah Barakatah.
One courtesy salute to the sisters. Amajah, Amajah Shabbat, Amajah, Barak, Yahweh Shema Alatham Ba'Hem Yahweh Shah. Yatim Ta, class dismissed.